broke the line.
Yeah.
What we got?
That shit hurt you when they don't care about you. Wake up.
Welcome back to Drills Gone Wild. We're the Drills. We're going wild. I'm RJ Steiskal, and with me, as always, Gentry Ward. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, it's
How-
another
how's
great day.
How's
Well, fall transition, it's upon us,
There you
So getting out there, trying to take advantage of the school and bass as they're moving around, trying to fatten up for the winter,
there you go.
Nothing too much.
Really?
What's up with that? What's up with that hunting? You got them deers, you got them bears, ducks, wabbits.
Man, it is.
Like
it
what are y'all targeting now? Like what's the
It
obviously,
is very,
like, it's-
very close to all of the seasons.
yeah.
So, I'm 5 minutes from the Canadian border. Right here in my area, Saturday starts deer hunting. And that's early, it's bow season. And then 2 weeks from now, I believe, is duck, but also Sunday, Canada is duck, which on this river right here that I'm like 400 yards from, it's split down the middle. Some parts of it is in Canada and some of it's in the United States. As a United States citizen, you can go right over across the border and get yourself a Canadian duck hunting license and go right across
One
the
of
river
those, like,
from the
shared
side.
water-
Yeah, exactly.
shared
So you can
water
go-
exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a few buddies that are duck hunters, and they're pretty stoked about that starting on Sunday, as well as deer. And then bear started a few weeks ago. Just got back Sunday about midday from that bear hunt that I went on this past weekend.
You guys don't really do. There's not really much hunting like in the summer at all, is there?
No, there's
Not like generally speaking.
no,
Maybe
there's
a couple here and there.
there's turkey in May, just all of the month of
Yeah.
May from the 1st to 31st. You can turkey hunt, but during the summer, no, there's not.
Oh, so it's like the start of the year for you then. It's about to kick off.
100%.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I didn't know that about fish. Like I said, I probably said it last episode that I'm more of the give me a bobber, give me a hook, give me a worm, and I'm gonna go try out
Yeah.
the river, and that's it. That's all I know,
I mean,
or a rooster tail,
I mean, like
Uh,
I said before, like they're always going to eventually hit that hook on a bobber. The rooster tail, the rooster tail's going to catch them. It's a great smaller presentation lure for like creek applications, catching on
Okay.
smallmouth.
Yeah.
They love the rooster tails, so you can take your 400-yard walk and just go flick it out there and run it across the bed. But
Yeah, you can.
man, so they're with them
Yeah,
schooling.
that's the fishing I'm used to right there. That's it.
With the bass schooling though, right now, it's a big difference. Like the summer was hot. They were just done feeding after spawn, so now they're ready to chill. They were sitting out. You had to throw something to the exact location where a bass would be sitting and hiding. It's a little different, so you just got to, make your proper adjustments. If they're swimming, they're looking for something. And bass don't look for things to just do, right? They're hunting. They're always hunting. They're not hunting anything.
Well,
They
maybe
want
that's what
the easiest, most filling
Yeah.
bite that they can get.
Okay.
Most bait per bite.
Gotcha.
So you're throwing a fat bluegills. If they're in the water, that's what we're throwing. That color all day. I mean, you
Maybe
just
that's
gotta
what
pay attention to what's really going
maybe
on
that's
at
what this
the
episode
water
needs to be
itself.
about. Seasonal activity for fishing. Everything you just told me is new to me.
Handling
And
the
then for
fall
deer.
transition.
Yeah, let's talk about fall transitions. Let's do it. Man, I'm so excited, dude. So excited for deer season.
Yeah, I don't have an off season, so I don't really know what it's like to.
I envy that.
to
I do
wait.
envy that. So I'll go right into it. And
Yeah, man.
a lot of the things that I'm going to hit is really, if you are not brand new to hunting, you probably know deer change with the season. Sounds like fish do too. In the fall, around this time frame, right around when season starts, you have weather changes and all that. That's obviously going to change that activity And then bucks are starting, their testosterone levels are starting to skyrocket, right? They're starting to get up because they're trying to go towards that rut. So
Is this like when they do the velvet thing where they rub their antlers on the trees?
No, so that is like July, August time frame, like right around now.
So
like every deer out, like every buck out there.
So
in
they
my
do that
area,
to get ready for this time.
Well, that's just their antler growth cycle, really.
Okay.
And the antler growth cycle actually is the fastest flesh on an animal, fastest growing flesh on an animal. It can grow up to 1 to 2 inches in a day.
Dang.
During that July, August time frame. And then you have that velvet on there, and then that's going to start falling off towards the end of August, beginning of September, somewhere in that time frame. So by now, I actually just
they should be pretty clean.
I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I got a buck on camera that had like you could tell it was shedding. It was like falling off.
Yeah, so just that scary, the scary picture on the internet. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty sick looking. They're in like bachelor groups during the summer.
Okay.
And then as that testosterone starts to skyrocket, the hierarchy starts to get established. Who's the most dominant buck in the herd? And all the bucks are going to start going their own separate ways because they want to be the big man on the block, right? So that'll start splitting up. As far as activity, they are going to be, you got food, you got weather, and you got hunter pressure, human pressure, if you will. But that's going to alter their activity. And you have the bedding area and you got the feeding area. And that feeding area is going to change with the season too, because during the summer, they're just out there eating that foliage and whatnot. During the winter, they're looking for more fats, or during the fall, sorry. They're looking for the more fats. Like they're trying to increase their fat intake. So they're going to be looking for different type of food than in the summer. But yeah. And then you said something about bass like schooling up and they're eating something different as well. Is that right?
So like they're not necessarily eating anything different, but they're not eating everything that you throw at them anymore. They're getting them more selective. I guess more bait per bite. So what I mean is like they're looking for a fat presentation, stimulating some kind of juicy prey or forage, right? Can't escape. Like they're just not going to be able to escape the bass if it decides it's going to chase it down.
Okay.
But with the pickiness comes color preference. There's if it hasn't rained in your area in a while, your water's probably lower and more clear. It just hasn't been stirred up. Your bass can see that crazy chartreuse and they don't like it anymore. So you got to switch to a more natural color.
Okay.
Like it's a super picky time.
If it's like a murky water, you want to use the brighter colors. And is that like a year-round thing, or is that seasonal as well?
Your color selection really shouldn't change too much in this fall season. I usually stick to the same 3, and then I've got like situational based colors. But I'm throwing something light, usually a white or like a white chartreuse, something dark. Standard for just about every bass fisherman that I talk to is a black and blue. I'm cool with it. I throw the same thing. And then I like a natural presentation. This will depend on what bait forage is in the body of water that I plan to fish. So if there's a heavy bluegill presence, well, I'm going to try to come in with some bluegill presentations. Hopefully a nice fat one that they're going to want to tear up. I just kind of rotate through those multiple presentations. 4 that I cycle through, just a spinner bait. This is going to run through the top and just see who's lurking around ready for a quick bite. If I don't get anything for a few casts from that, switching over to a crankbait or a chatterbait, it's going to ride through the middle. A whole lot of vibrations happening. So they're getting stirred up and they're not really getting a good look at it. Like I said, they were picky because they were getting good looks. You stir them up, get them all hot.
Like curious.
Try to get them hot and bothered. What is that, right? Reactionary strikes. Those are extremely hard to time, but patience and precision seems to be pretty solid with that. If nothing through the chatter of the crank, I'm just assuming that's too much action for him. We need to slow it down. I'll switch over to a nice little swim jig, throw a nice trailer on it. Nothing too crazy. You can swim this right through the middle, a little high,
Oh, like a little
or you can
mixture of
bounce
key
it off
lime pie
bottom.
and pink lemonade.
So this is one that I actually designed with Targaryen baits,
No shit.
and I had it basically color matched to a Yamamoto Senko, the green chartreuse tip. It's a banger, dude. Like, you throw it on, you're catching. It's awesome. So I figured same concept, put it on a jig. Lastly, with nothing on a swim jig, I'm gonna just go old school. We're throwing a Texas rig, Senko worm, or a finesse worm, or we're just going weightless. Same worms though, and then same color combos throughout. Something light, something dark, and something that's definitely in the water. Try to keep it fish shaped for the most part. Sometimes they're full on fish. There might be big crawls or big frogs out in the area. They're eating turtles too. They're eating ducks. Bass are eating anything that's big and will fit in their mouth. Bait per bite. Just got to keep it on the move. They're looking for it.
Yeah. So the deer, they are animals and they're just like humans. We got to eat, right?
Yeah.
Got to eat. And then, later on in the season, when they're in the rut, they got to fuck. They're trying to,
They got to do the.
they're trying to, they're trying to do their thing. Just, I guess, to cover this time of year and kind of just all around, right? Deer are typically creatures that will move around dusk and dawn. There are some studies that say, hey, bucks, that's where everybody wants, typically.
The trophy.
I'm not mad about it, though. I'm trying to put meat in the freezer.
You're there for food. Yeah, that's way different.
Would I
principle.
would I like a wall hanger? Absolutely. I go for those. But beginning opening season, dude, if a doe walks out and it's a good sized doe, I'm probably going to take it, especially pre-rut. The less does you have during the rut, the more the bucks have to move to find somebody to mate with. So, I'm not opposed to it. Some people are. That's them. Weather now. So in heavy heat, heavy snow, heavy rain, I'm talking heavy, they're not going to move so much. However, something to pay attention to is barometric pressure. If a thunderstorm is rolling in, they're going to move right before. They're going to move right after.
They're going to be already safe.
Yes. And if it's a light rain,
before you even knew it was coming.
If it's a light rain, be in that stand, dude. If it's the tail end of a thunderstorm, dude, go get wet and get out there. Like, because as soon as it stops raining,
like the fish patterns.
Oh, 100%.
They hunker. They get. If there's no bites, I'll check the weather when I get home, and almost guaranteed there's supposed to be a storm. I can clockwork,
and they can tell like that barometric pressure. And a lot of people for hunting go off of moon phase. Like there's actually there's there's multiple websites, apps, and
we
stuff
use
like
the
that.
moon phase too for the fishing.
Look,
It's hard. I don't know what's going on.
I'm one of the believers that is kind of in some sense a myth, but the problem is there's so many factors that go into deer movement. Man, you sit for the whole day, 12 hours, like, man, this spot right here used to just constantly.
Yeah.
And then you see nothing. You're like, where the heck are the deer? Why aren't they moving? Like, something ain't right. There's so many factors that could go into that. But goodness, dude, there's so much. The
similarities between what you're saying and just like what I've had to factor in to the color selection for the water I go to is literally like you figuring out where your tree stand's going to be.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to, so with moon phase, I'm not gonna lie.
There's only so much time.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, I think it's a myth, but I don't look at it. I look at it, but it'll be usually one of those things where I'm sitting in the stand. I've been sitting there for an hour or two, and then I'll go look at it and see what this website says the peak activity for the day should be, right? I'll go do that. Another big one is wind direction, especially especially with scent control. There's another thing. Is scent control a myth? I don't know. Maybe. I ain't no scientist. But do I use it? Yes. Do I rely on it? No. If I forget it one day, no big deal. I typically don't. I have it in the truck. I
Yeah.
spray it on real quick. No big deal. And if I don't, and I'm hunting in the area with pine trees, I'm going to take some of them pine needles and rub them together, get that oil out, and, spritz out on whatever. You have to play the wind for sure.
Yeah.
Deer are going to typically move downwind, right? Where the wind's blowing in their face. That way they can smell what's ahead of them as a defense mechanism. And you have to outsmart them. Plain and simple. And then we go into terrain, really. That is another big factor for hunters. You can't just sit anywhere. You can, and you might see something. But the more you study the animal activity for fishing too, right? Better spot selection you're going to have.
Yeah. You're not just, if you're looking for bass, you're not just, occasionally you'll blind cast because you've done all your targeted casts and you're just trying to see what's out there now at this point. But for the most part, yeah.
I actually always blind cast. I'm like, oh, is there a fish there? I don't know.
Nah,
if I'm eating, I'm eating. If I ain't, I ain't.
I'm looking for a pocket in the pond or in the lake or river or wherever I'm at fishing. If there's a nice little pocket where the water's more calm, I'm going straight over there, regardless of the depth. You'd be surprised how big a fish can sit in like 8 inches of water before you know it's there.
I know that. So the river I got here is clear. You can see 80 feet down, right? And like I was just the other day, and when I say just the other day, it could be last year, but it was like 2 months ago. I'm out in the bay in my little bay area right here, and muskie at this point in time, 2 months ago, we're supposed to be average of 20 to 30 feet deep, and there is this muskie, and that thing
just
is
chilling.
I gotta back up a little bit. It is like this big, not exaggerating, right? And I'm just like, what the hell? And it was not even 3 feet deep in that spot. I'm like, what are you doing over here?
Yeah, man. Like I pulled like a 4-pound largemouth, like a 1.5 feet off the bank. I found him because his tail fin was out of the water. So I just threw a jig in his face.
What a dummy. Got caught slipping.
Worst apex predator ever.
You know what happened with me? That muskie, he wasn't having. He wasn't tasting what I was spitting out. He wasn't smelling what I was stepping in. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't having it. He wasn't trying for my bait.
I like to lead them. If you throw it right at them, they're gonna get spooked. You throw it way out, not way out, just you lead them a bit. This way you can draw it in across their field of view rather than like, boom, here it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes that boom hits. And that's those reactionary bites that you have to be ready for. Yeah.
Well,
they're non-committal bites. That's what I call them.
Take back over for a minute. Terrain features, and you can help me out here. We're gonna cover those real quick, and I actually have a little visual aid here. But first, just go over the basics, just for the brand new hunter or the hunter that has private property that doesn't have to worry about public land and all the places. He's just got a stand that his grandpa put up in this one spot, and he doesn't know why. It just works. So that's what I grew up on.
YOLO.
I didn't know this stuff, until I started having to, get out there on public land and like actually learn about deer. We know Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing, the good stuff. You got hills, valleys, ridge, saddles, depressions. And then you have draw, cliff, spur, cut and a fill, basic terrain features. What I'm about to show you here, we have a hill, another hill, and then if there were 3, that'd be a ridge. And then right in between here, you have that lower elevation, which would technically be a saddle. This isn't a perfect example. It's just something I just pulled up on a map.
Real quick and easy.
Yeah. And then right here, if you see this, you got that slight depression there. You got another one like right here. You got something weird going on here. But right here and right here, we call those benches. And what I'm going to be looking for not only are benches, but compounding terrain features. So what that would mean is you got this bench here, which deer do like to bed on. It's just a good spot for them. And then if they were traveling, say they're over here, say there's a good feeding area over here, and this is their bedding area, those deer are typically going to go with the path of least resistance. So they're not going to like walk up on top of this hill and then come way down here. They're most likely going to use this saddle. And, you know, better example, if it was like deeper in, right? If this line here and this line here were a little closer together, you'd have that more, you know, dip, and it would be more of a funnel or a pinch point. Those are your basic things that you want to look for when you're doing your map reconnaissance for deer hunting: funnels and pinch points. If you had this bench here and this saddle was a little bit more prominent, that would be a very, very good compounding terrain feature that I would be looking for. Would I necessarily hunt this exact spot? Maybe, maybe not, you know. But that bench is a good indicator, and then this saddle is a good indicator. And then, you know, typically we know this from our Army days. If you have this good draw like that, typically there's water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another good one. Animals do need water, and typically around water in the wild.
It's usually life around water.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have good vegetation, then you probably have good deer feed. That is what I'm looking for this year. I wasn't trying to show my personal hunting spots. I wasn't about to drop them. So just wanted to give an example of what I'm going to be looking for in my area is those good compound terrain features. You know? Something to really funnel. Since I'm hunting public land, I have to worry a lot about hunting pressure. So I want to be, I guess the perfect thing for me is a compounding terrain feature the furthest away from any road or access point that can possibly be. If I have to go further than anybody else, that's what I want. Less hunting pressure, because hunting pressure is a big one. Absolutely.
So yeah, less signs of human interaction, more likelihood of high animal presence.
100%.
But at the same time, are there like areas where you'll hunt, but the human and animal relation is like they just kind of live near each other so much they don't care? Anywhere like that?
Yes,
Well,
to
you
an
know, like they still care. But they're not
right,
as afraid or skittish.
right,
It's
yeah.
like
To an extent, I actually hunt a state park in my area,
okay,
and in one of the
yeah, I
sections,
fish at one. It's pretty tough.
yeah, one of the sections, right, it's near the campground, and there is a trail there, and not many people hunt it. That section, because they're like, oh, there's people over there all the time. While there is, but early season, when all the camping is starting to like dwindle, and then all the hunting, they're in all the other sections, I like to hunt that spot because the deer activity is pretty good at that point in time. But then as the camping starts to die off and as the hunting starts to ramp up towards the rut, and then people start coming in and hunting it more, you won't see shit over there anymore. Once the rut happens, I don't even hunt over there anymore because there's no point. That early season, when they haven't been pressured by hunters, it's pretty good activity overall. So I guess, seasonal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said state park. If there is a dock and you already know people are fishing on it often, do you even mess with that? Do you go over there or do you find something else?
So I haven't even found a dock that doesn't have a no fishing sign yet. But
Really?
you can tell that everybody still fishes from them. And of course, I'm going to go throw off them because for the most part, your docks are literally just surrounded by everything that like a bass would look for as far as like a habitat or somewhere for it to sit and eat. Because
Okay.
what are we doing what are we, the
fish-
humans, doing
do
at
fish
docks?
sit?
Yeah. They sit on that bass all day long and just wait around.
On that bad
No, huh? Slap my
boy.
knee. You're welcome.
Oh, dude, slap
But yeah, no,
mine.
the structure, man, because whenever the currents are ripping and everything, all that structure provides extra protection, a place for them to lodge themselves, a place for them to just
Okay.
brace themselves or, you know, completely hide from the current. But the heavy vegetation, they can tie up in that. They like to sit by those posts that the docks are sitting on.
Yeah.
Us as humans are constantly throwing dead bait, scrap from the fish that we fillet on the dock or whatever, right
Once
into
the
the water.
boat comes back, they're gonna be throwing out
So,
all
like,
yeah.
don't necessarily eat chunked fish, but bass aren't going to pass on
On a free
more bait
meal.
per bite.
Right. Yeah.
More bait
Okay.
per. They want the biggest mouthful they can handle every time because they need to store all of that to make it through the winter. So that's what all this is about. They're getting ready for like their hibernation phase. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they're going to sleep. You're still going to be able to get them. It's going to be summer fishing in the cold, unless you're iced over. I don't know. I've never done that. I've never done ice fishing, so
Up
I have no
here,
idea.
it is a thing, and it's a big thing, but I've never done it either. And you got to pay me to fucking be miserable. And
I don't know, dude. Some of those spots look pretty dope.
well, except
I don't know. Like you get a shack and you just sit on a lake and just catch like pike and watch TV and
I
listen
mean,
to radio.
I could do that 400 meters from my house. I
Yeah, but
really
like it's
could.
not hot outside.
That's true. That's true.
I'm still in the
But like,
south, so like I'm just kind of looking
if
for it to
if
not be
if
hot
I
outside.
if I had a shanty, if I had a shanty and all that, and a little Mr. Buddy heater and a couple buddies that wanted to
It'd
do
be
it
pretty
too, yeah,
cool.
I'd
Like
definitely
I'd be
go.
down to. I'd love to
Yeah.
go ice fishing, dude.
But people go out and they'll do these shit about ice fishing. They'll do these little leads that I think they're called tip ups or something. But it once the bait, it's kind of like a miniature crane. They dig a hole, they put that bait on that line, and then it's popped up like this. And then when it gets a bait, when it gets a fish, it'll tip
It
up
like
and
closes the
it'll have
lid
like a
or something.
flag on it. Yeah, and you just like run and grab
Yeah,
the whole like thing.
I don't know how to do
And
none
people
of
do like
that.
20 or 30 of those, and they just like run after them.
I
That's not what I thought ice fishing was. I thought it was like a little hole and put a,
like a skinny rod and like
yeah. I do have an ice fishing rod in my garage, but I mean, I've never used it.
that'd be pretty tight.
Yeah,
I don't
it
even.
would be pretty tight. I might
What are we
actually
talking about?
go.
Ice
I might
fishing.
actually go. Yeah, I might actually go this winter just
We were talking about
for
fall.
shits and gigs. I mean, winter's right
What are
around
we
the corner,
doing?
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, winter's right around the corner.
can't wait for those 75-degree Christmas.
I ain't got that up here, bud. I got 3 weeks of hunting in miserable, warm mosquito weather, and then it could rain today, and it could be an ice storm. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't miss it.
And then
I don't
I have
miss
like 2-3 weeks of that. Then it's like what? You don't care about the weather, and then after that, it's like miserably cold, 12 degrees. You're just gonna be cold. Doesn't matter. 9
Yeah.
layers, 11 layers, whatever.
So on opening day, what are you gonna do this one? Like if you're gonna manifest, greatness here, what's gonna give you that edge that makes you go out and you're gonna have a successful hunt? What's that thing you
So
got going on?
what I got going on is
Like what's gonna give you that edge during this season right now? Or maybe not an edge, but just help ensure the success. You know what I mean? What's gonna help you
okay.
bag a deer
I
or
spent
increase the chance, I guess.
from last season to this season, I have done a lot more homework on actual deer science, I guess you could call it, and
Like their
learning.
patterns and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, their activity and
Mhm.
what they avoid, what they go for, as far as when you walk out into the wood line and you see acorns. Oh, that's acorns. But what else do deer eat? And what does that look like? So I started digging more into that. So I'm more keen in the wilderness where I'm looking around. Okay, that's what they eat right there. That's what things like that. And obviously, I'm in public land. I can't go out there and plant a food plot. So I'm not out there. Oh, let's plant some some turnips and some clover and stuff like that. Some chicory. going out there in the wild and be like, okay, these are public land deer. That's where their habitat is. It's where they live. What are they looking for in this area? So scouting has helped me. I've done a lot more scouting this year than any other year, as well as tying in the terrain features. You know, I used to look for saddles. I used to look for another good one is the change of environment inside of the woodline, right? How you'll be walking and you'll see that it's open pine and then thick, mad thick stuff. If you go to that spot right where it changes, more than likely you will probably see a very hardened trail that is obviously animals are using that. And they'll usually, especially bucks, they'll skirt that and they'll just be looking. They'll be looking in there, they'll be smelling, and then they can see the open and they can sense what's right there in that thick stuff. So they really like that. Opening day is Saturday. I have my daughter this weekend, which I did last year too. I already got her a play date. I'm gonna be out there in the woods. But I mean, she's excited for that. I'm excited to be out there in the woods. I take her every now and then, but not opening day. And I already have a spot in mind, and I have gotten quite a few bucks on it and quite a few doe. It's pretty good area for right now. But I did get a guy on camera nearby there, so you know there is other hunters there, so I have to take that in consideration.
Sharing the space.
Yeah. There, you know what? This is actually crazy, and I cannot give you the I can't give you the citation on where this came from. I just know that it was a study done by a college. I could look it up at another time, but I believe it was a college in Georgia. Did a study on an area of private land, put some deer trackers out. I think it was like 1,000 deer or something like that, and they said 100% for a fact, the day that hunting season started, they saw a change in activity. And that was always a myth with deer hunters. They were like, "Oh yeah, you know, you got that buck on camera every day at 2 p.m. for a month, and the day deer season starts, you ain't gonna see him again." Apparently, that's a thing. They know.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. We do it.
Maybe
on the
I go
same
out
day
and sit in
every
this
year.
spot, and I'm like, "I got it, dude. I got it this year." And I'll see
It's based off. I mean, our seasons are based off the lunar phases too.
And that's part of the thrill, though. Like,
so like maybe those lunar phases do factor a little heavier. I know they factor in. When we have moon overhead, any time of day, you can catch a fish. If the moon is overhead, you can catch a fish.
So you're talking about like,
in my experience,
like full moon?
No, just up. You know, when you're outside and it's like 1, but somehow the moon's up.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Like, whenever I see that, I'm extremely confident that I'm about to catch a fish. Just, that is one of those, like, I heard that was like one of the myths amongst the other fishermen is moon's out, fish are biting, no matter what. Light rains. You go out for the light rain, the fish are already wet, but they're biting. You know, you follow certain weather, certain just patterns that you can recognize. Thankfully, there's tons of resources. You can literally just Google bite times, feeding. Alabama has.
I did not know you could do that for
feeding
fish.
times. They have a feeding time chart that goes off the lunar phases. Every month it posts, and it also has your license on it. So like I'm still waiting for mine in the mail. No big deal. I can still go fish because I got it on my phone. I can show if the game warden wants to see it. I can pull it out. It's no big deal. And but I like to get the one with the fish on it. My fishing license should probably have a fish on it. You can pick whatever you want.
You know what New York State just did? So New York State used to give you these like your tags would be weatherproof to an extent. They were orange. They were on some type of material. I don't really know what it was, but they had a little hole punch in them, and you would zip tie it to the ear once you harvested your deer. Well, I guess Kathy Hochul, not getting into politics, but they decided for some reason to go to paper. Now, if you don't have your license on you, and yes, you could pull it up on your phone technically, but if you're not in a good service area and you don't have your physical piece of paper license
Screenshot.
on you or your tags, right? And also, you still have to cut that tag out of this piece of printer paper. You have to cut that physical tag off and still tag your deer
in the woods.
Bubba, as soon as I kill this deer, so long as, I had a good shot and it dies right there, whatever. As soon as I find it, I have to field dress it. I have to get the guts out of that animal because the meat will go bad if I don't. So there's blood on my hands. There's blood on the ground and shit. And then I have to put a piece of paper on this animal somehow. Do I need to carry a roll of Scotch tape? What is going on? What are we doing out here? What is wrong with this world? Anyways.
I should make them ahead of time.
Because you have to fill it out.
On the spot?
On the spot. Yeah,
permanent
you have to do township. You have to do harvest date. You have to do the specific animal you got. You got to fill all that out. So
make them ahead of time and then bring you
map marker.
Permanent marker.
Duh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get a permanent map marker and just fill it out like a TCCC.
I don't see the state. I don't see the state of New York giving me a clothing allowance or a friggin' letting me into their supply.
So you mean
office,
to tell me supply didn't accidentally drop a couple markers that made it all the way to New York?
Those are mine. Get out of here. Wherever you are, Specialist Lofton, you can suck it. I got your map markers. Who was that dude? The supply guy for ACO. I don't remember his name. All I know is I was in there every other week and I was just like, hey, my platoon needs more tough boxes. Well, you've gotten 14 in this cycle. Like, that's the whole company's lot. But I need more. What are you going to do? Also, I need 10 Gerbers. Let's go. iPro.
It's like, well, there's 6 over here. You can have them.
I appreciate it. And I walked back over to Bico and like, hey, man, you got any of them Wiley X iPros? Like, I need another pair. Bro, you don't. He's like, you don't work over here anymore. I don't care.
You don't even go here.
You don't even go here. Like, you don't go here. E5, leave me alone. What do you need? Come back next week.
Yeah.
17.
For sure.
Right in the lane. But anyways, speaking of Army, we didn't really cover anything. Yeah, we didn't cover anything this week. And I think I have a good topic for next episode. We should cover were we the very last or one of the last ever shark attacks in the Army?
I can only trust the leadership that was telling me, which I did trust the leadership as they were telling me. Yeah, we were part of the final shark attack in the foreseeable future. Throughout history.
Future. We'll see what PSX does, but
they might go back, but
I mean that was years ago.
As now, yes. As far as I'm aware, that was the last shark attack, and we were there.
I think that would be a good episode of covering the last shark attack as well as. So I know you did that over NACO, and then
it happened
over
later than you think.
Simultaneously, I was doing the very first 100 yards. And then
the last shark attack happened later than people would think, though, is my favorite thing.
Yeah, it did. And on top
of that, we couldn't get accredited. That was the big thing.
Right, yeah.
There was just so much new. We didn't have enough time to get up to speed.
It was such
but we had
under the microscope that they had to have the ITCO Sergeant Major, because I did one of the very first 100 yards. I believe we did the first 100 yards. The first one. But
we definitely were
the
not.
IMCO Sergeant Major was like IMCO down.
Yeah.
All of Fort Benning's chain of command was pretty much there, and they were watching. And it was, what do they call Fort Bragg? The dog and pony show. That was it right there. It was insanity. It was a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll cover that. And then, I didn't really touch base about that bear hunt too much. And I would like to cover it a little bit. Maybe we can drop that in on the next episode, as well as, some of your fishing for the next couple of weeks. And then we can talk, a little bit more about, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot on the next episode. We got more deer hunting coming. We got goose seasons all of September. We got duck coming up. And then obviously deer and then bear. Yeah. And the very
man.
first Heathen Outdoors full actual episode, not these silly TikToks for reach out there, but the full actual show. First episode should be coming out in the next week or so. So hopefully I'll have it up before the next for the next episode of Drills Gone Wild podcast. So we can push people over
That's
that way
awesome,
too.
man. Well,
Hell
check out
yeah.
our links. Thanks for tuning in. As always, leave any suggestions or comments you have. I'm RJ Steiskal. He's Gentry Ward, and we're the
I am.
Drills, and we've gone wild. Thank you,
Going wild.
and goodbye.